Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Retail Shenanigans. You know me, of course. My name's Ray, and today we are going with episode 3. Today my guest is Alex. He used to work with me up in York, Pennsylvania when I worked for Gander Outdoors. Known him for a while. He's a super awesome person. Really enjoy hanging out with him. And he's the kind of person that, you ask him for some help or, you talk to him and he really will go that extra mile. I know right before I moved down here to Texas, he came over one day and helped me throw a lot of shit away because my wife had just had a baby, our second baby, and he came over and helped us get a lot of shit out of our house and just throw it in the dumpster. So all around awesome person. So Alex, I'd like to welcome you to the podcast. And how you doing, buddy?
Hey man, good. Thanks for having me.
No worries. It was a awesome time to have you. Ever since I started talking about doing this, you and I have been in contact, and I really been looking forward to having you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I mean, this whole coronavirus thing's put a little bit of a damper on things, but working through it. Yeah, it's just a unfortunate setback, not just for me, for a lot of people. But I think what the cool thing about it is once things really start rolling again, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to take advantage of as soon as that happens.
Yeah, I really hope that's the case. I've seen a couple pictures that you posted that you're still trying to go fishing when you can, and as long as you're following your social distancing things, no complaints from me there. I know you're a smart guy and you're not going to do something crazy. I know that you have some lung issues. I don't know 100% all about that, but I know that you told me before you had some issues and you're fighting through it as best as you can. So I've always been proud of you, man, and I'm very grateful to have you here on the show.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm proud of you too. Yeah, I got a few concerns. I was in a car accident that I punctured my lung and all that, so that's a little bit of a concern. Missing spleen, so that's a little bit of weakened immune system there, and then I have an autoimmune condition. So yeah, the coronavirus is it's definitely a little nerve-wracking, but I can't stay isolated forever, and yeah, I am staying away from people to the best of my ability, and it's all good. It'll all work out.
Now my question, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I have a quick question for you. Now, when you got into this accident, you had your lung punctured, you're missing your whole spleen or part of it. Now, when they were going through and giving you your surgeries, was there nothing they can do for your face, or did you always just look like this?
Yeah, I was born beautiful. They couldn't touch this face, you think? Oh, you freaking crackhead.
Oh, whatever. You love it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump in here. And my first question I have for you is, how long have you been in retail? Not necessarily retail in general where you're, at a retail store or like a supermarket, things of that nature. But I also lump in, sales with that too. So how long have you been in this business?
Well, in total time, I'd probably say around 3 or 4 years. So I really, really jumped into retail at Gander. And what the interesting thing about Gander is it wasn't just your basic retail kind of ordeal where you just go and fix the shelves and, stand around and do nothing, maybe wait on some customers here and there. We actually had, as you know, we had a goal to meet. I don't really want to call it a quota because they weren't going to fire you if you didn't hit it, but at the same time you were pushed to hit it. And so yeah, we had that, and that was kind of when I jumped into Gander right after I was able to go back to work after that accident. And the cool thing about Gander was I kind of found what I think is my calling currently. They stuck me up front, and up front where you were ringing customers out, that was really where the magic, I like to call it, happened, because you were interacting with everybody in the store that bought something, and you had a chance to meet a sales goal or make a sale on a store membership, a Visa, or a protection plan on an item that we offered. And I just kind of took to it, and it was actually kind of fun. once you kind of got it nailed down. And it was me and like two other guys that really kind of rocked the show up there. And that's kind of where I met somebody else that works at a company that I will be going back to when this whole ordeal is over, called, it's a building supply company. And so it still is retail in a sense, but not to the same extent as Gander was. It's kind of, I want to say it's on a bigger scale. So what we would do there is we actually would supply builders and contractors in PA and Maryland and a little bit in West Virginia here and there with the material they need to build houses, or build houses, do remodels, put new roofs on, stuff like that. Anything like that you can think of, we have or can get out to them. And the cool part about that business was where Gander was kind of more numbers driven rather than service. And don't get me wrong, every business is numbers driven. Without numbers, you ain't gonna make it.
100%.
However, there's a different way of going to get those numbers when it comes to Gander compared to where I was and going back to.
Okay.
So you got competition, obviously, like Gander Outdoors had competition with Dick's Sporting Goods and places like that and Bass Pro. We got competition with other building suppliers too in the area. And what separates you as a salesman for that company is your service. How efficient you are with your customers, what you can get for them when they need it, how you can help them grow their own business. I have a mentor there, actually. His name's Jim, and he kind of told me, he said, Alex, what's the hardest thing to keep but the easiest thing to lose? And I didn't know the answer to that. And he kind of really opened my eyes to that by saying, it's your reputation. Anything can go wrong with your reputation. Anything.
Most definitely.
And if you lose that, you're kind of up creek without a paddle, because if you can't be trusted, you're toast. And that's kind of what separates you from everybody else. The main point what I want to get at is service, like I said, but you have to be able to get your client, your customer, what they need, not upsell them. Everyone thinks, you got to upsell. No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to upsell anybody if it's not what they need, because they're going to catch on to that.
I got you.
It's a big relationship business. A lot of these customers, they become your friends in that industry. It's really cool to do. So
if I'm understanding correctly, it's almost like you are the retailer of the construction industry or realty rehab companies, people who go in and gut out houses or businesses or things of that nature. Would that kind of be a correct analysis?
Yeah. So in a sense, we are a retailer for contractors and builders. So we just simply, all we do is supply them with what they need to build.
Okay. No, most definitely. And contractors know what they need, and you go into a place and try to upsell, somebody's like, oh, hey, I need X amount of wood. Oh, well, I'll give you this much more. No,
right.
This is a lot of times, from what I understand, it's, if they're getting paid for a job or paid for something, they're able to spend X, they want to make the most amount of money that they can. So they're going to spend X amount where they're supposed to and, try to save the rest so they can make as most. At least that's what I understand about the situation.
No, yeah, and there's a truth to that. But the other part of it is, if you can convince them, or I don't want to say convince them, I'll show them that your service is better than anybody else that they could run off to.
Yeah.
If you gain that from them, man, you can raise your prices for your effort. Not because you're upselling them, because, hey, I'm better than everybody else. And it's not even in an arrogant way. I'm servicing you in a better way than anybody else will. When you need something, I'm there to get it. If you've got a question, I'm going to answer that question as fast as I can, or get somebody who can answer that question as fast as I can. And they like that. I'm going to make sure your deliveries are on time and there when you're there, when you ask for them, where you ask for them, especially in the right place, at the right time. And
most definitely.
If you prove that, a lot of those guys, and don't get me wrong, there are guys that are just strictly price driven, price. But when you get down to it and you're doing better than everybody else in the service game, they will be willing to pay you more because in the end they're going to get the job done faster with less headaches, and everybody wins at that point. So that's kind of how you can make the most amount of money, and it's not in a shyster kind of way. It's in a, it's hard to say without coming off as too strong, but if you're beating out the competition, you can charge more. You get what you pay. You get what you pay for. That's what I'm trying to get at.
No, 100%. I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying. That's the same. I don't want to. How do I say it? I don't want to sound like I'm devaluing what you're saying. Like, I 100% agree with that, and that's just not in your business. That's in any. I mean, That's the same thing with where, like I said, I don't want to put too much of my personal into it, but where I'm working, I work in the middle of nowhere and on a long stretch of highway, and on each opposite side of me, there's different stores. There's a 7-Eleven on the far right of me. That's the same company, but it's a franchise. And then on the far left, there's a QT and a Racetrack, which are convenience stores down here in Texas in the South. Be like the equivalent of like a Sheetz or Rutter's or a Turkey Hill. And it's, you got to try to put forth that effort to show them that it's worth it. Yeah, it might be an extra mile or so down the road, but I've got guys that'll come into my store because they know I'll have the coffee fresh, I'll have the food there that they want. If they want something specific that I don't have for some reason cooked already, I'll throw it in the oven right away. But no, 100%, what you're saying I think is indicative of every service industry. You've got to have integrity and show them that you're there. I couldn't agree with you more, buddy.
Right, it's like you said, with just the little things like that they get that go a long way with a lot of people. And if you're better, you're better. It's just the name of the game.
Well, I feel like sales especially is one of those things where nowadays it's not okay for people. There's a lot of people that don't want to be like, oh, this person says they're better than me, that makes me feel bad, you can't say that. But I feel sales is one of the unique opportunities that you can be better than somebody and be proud of it 100%. Because it doesn't matter if you're getting upset that I'm saying I'm better in sales than you. If I'm selling a dozen more cars than you do a month, I think the numbers speak for themselves.
They do, and it's funny because where I was working, everyone gets along for the most part, and it just becomes a little bit of a show like that. Everyone's kind of talking a little bit of trash, and that's just the realm we're in.
Oh,
I'm in the building. I'm in the building industry. If you're gonna be a weenie, you're not gonna make it. You're just not gonna make it.
Oh, well, I'm sure you remember back in our Gander days, everybody talked shit to everybody about numbers, about selling. Hell, even the gun sales. I can't tell you how many times it was Chad and Brody just talking shit about how many guns they sold that day. So, come on, it's an indicative part of the process. You got to have some friendly competition, I think.
It's right, and to me, it's fun. I mean, it really is. It makes it fun.
Oh my God! How many times did when you would come in, and not to cut you, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
It's just making me laugh thinking about it. How many times when I would work the closing shift, and you'd come in and work what was it, like 4 to 10 or whatever it is that you used to work, and I would tell you like, hey, this is how many I have so far. Are you going to try to beat me? What's going on? And the days where you did, it was awesome. I was very happy and proud for you. Or the days where you slipped a little bit, I'd be like, all right, dumbass, what are you doing? Like, come on.
That was a good time. I just remember. Man, I'm trying to come up with an instance. Oh yeah, I think it was. I think it was Kit who kind of came up to me one day.
Yeah.
She had like 7 good Sams, and I was only working a 4-hour shift.
Yeah.
That's not a lot. Well, I want to say it's probably more than 7.
Right.
It was a good amount.
Yeah.
And it was a good amount, and it was a tough amount to beat in that time frame. Man, I just remember blowing her out of the water, and she just got so freaking annoyed because I didn't let it go for like a week and a half, and it was a good time. It's awesome.
No, but she's an awesome person. But at the same time, you got to mess with everybody. It's the same with me. It didn't matter. Everybody has their things where, you got to just give them a little bit of shit every once in a while.
Oh, yeah. Well, Gander, for the most part, honestly, Gander, for the most part, was like a big family.
Oh, my God.
I looked forward to going into Gander, even though, we didn't get paid bad. But, it wasn't exactly livable, but it's not really what it's designed for anyway. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean,
I
and there
liked
was
it.
ways to make more money. I mean, like you said, we got commission, so there was
Yeah,
tons of that.
yeah. I shouldn't say that. Yeah, the fact that and the commission wasn't bad either. It
No.
was
And the fact
pretty
that there
good.
was no commission cap was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
So, got another question here for you. If you could pick one, what would you say your best or favorite memory of working in retail was? Whether it be something really good or awesome that happened, or if it was and again, I hate to say it this way, but you know how we all get those moments where we deal with the Karens or the other, this person that just wants to be a total dick to you, and you're able to, get them to shut up because you tell them something and then you get backed up or whatever. But just like a peak, top tier memory of retail that you have.
Um, there was probably this one instance where this guy, because I also worked in the fishing department. And that's kind of where my expertise lied, my
Mm-hmm.
cup of tea, if you will. And he came in, and I guess he was kind of new to the game, and he put a lot of trust in me to lead him the right way and how to just get out there and just catch some fish. Because I get real technical with it because I'm that into it now, and sometimes. Not to go off track, sometimes that'll bite you because you're making it way too technical. But anyway, I just I gave him the knowledge that I had, and he came back in the store in a couple days, and I wasn't there, but he grabbed, I believe it was Brent, that he went up and he grabbed Brent. He said, that kid that you have working in the fishing department, he really knows what he's talking about. I went out yesterday and I caught like 30 bass at Lake Redmond, and everyone else has told me all this other stuff, and none of it's worked. That kid, he's awesome. And just knowing that your knowledge and your craft, I guess, just kind of made someone's life better and
Oh
like
hell
more
yeah!
enjoyable. That's a lot. That's the beauty of what comes out of working a sales job
Do
or
you
a retail job.
do you think you could elaborate a little bit more? What was it? Was it like a particular, like, was he just trying to go bass fishing, or did he want like just basic info, or what was it that you helped him with exactly, if you remember?
All right, so he came in and he was like, what should I be throwing out there right now? What should I be
For
using
bass.
for lures? Yeah, for lures, mouth bass. And
Okay.
so I just, I said, well, how long you been doing? He goes, I'm kind of just getting into it. I said, all right, well, we're just gonna keep this simple then. And I gave him, I didn't, the guy said he'll buy whatever. I mean, I could have taken that and I could have ran with it and I could have made that guy spend like $300, $400, $500. But
Right.
to me, in that instance, that's taking advantage of somebody, and I don't think it's right. So I kept it simple. I said, look, here's what you need to start out. We can build upon this. When you start
Ooh, pardon me.
getting
Sorry.
more involved, no, you're good. When you start getting more involved in, the sport, I think he already had a rod and reel that was workable with,
Okay.
and I think he spent about, I don't know, I think he only spent like $30 that day.
Right.
And this is for stuff that would probably last him a solid month. And he came back in and he couldn't believe, that just listening to somebody like that caught him that many fish. So that was
Yeah.
probably the cool part.
Well, and that's one of the things I think that I really think benefits you, because when you were working there in that department, you weren't just some Joe Schmo who, didn't fish. You actually lived the life, and it allowed you to pass that knowledge on. And I personally think that's fucking awesome, man. Like, kudos to you on that. That's beautiful. I mean, as far as like a going above and beyond for your customer, that was beautiful. I mean, because like you said, somebody could have just been like, oh, here's a $30 reel. Here's a new rod because the one you're using is not right. Here's a bunch of bait that's not going to work, but I'm going to say it's going to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a best bang for your buck in every situation, honestly. I mean, are there times where you can finesse the system a little bit, sure, but it wasn't needed. It wasn't a necessity in that situation. So, yeah, that's what I liked. That was my favorite part about it.
No, I mean, and I totally get it, because I remember a couple times asking you, because that I have two sons, I want to take them fishing, and I've only been fishing once or twice.
Yeah,
And
right.
both times I've been fishing, I was fishing with Nate, the gentleman I actually interviewed yesterday. So, it was just interesting to get other people's knowledge, because I remember asking you one time, you know, I just want to go out and have some fun, even if I don't catch anything. I just want to at least go out and try. And you were like, yeah, just literally. I'm pretty sure the conversation was, it was like you said I could go get a $30 rod and reel combo and still have fun.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you're not an adamant fisherman, there's no reason to be spending the kind of money I spend on rods.
Yeah, but you're a fucking lunatic, and you're out there morning, noon, and night.
Yeah, especially now with all this stuff going on.
Now, a little off topic, but please tell me, do you go noodling?
Hell no. Where am I gonna go noodling around here? That's
Look,
like,
all I know is I remember you and Brent talking about noodling one time, and you know he's hillbilly hell, man. So you know he's anybody listening on the channel who doesn't know, just real quick, noodling is when you go to these streams and these riverbeds down in the countryside, and I think it's catfish, right, Nate or Alex?
Yeah, it's catfish. And
So,
it's more of a southern thing,
right? Where you put your hand down in these catfish holes and you let them bite you in your arm, and then you rip the fish out. Fuck that.
No thing. I mean, would I try it? Sure,
nope.
But you know, with my luck, I'll reach in there and there'll be a giant ass turtle in there or something.
Yep, and you're gonna lose some fingers.
Take my finger, yeah. So. No, I'd rather just sit out with a rod and reel and some tequila if I'm catching catfish.
Hell yeah.
That's a beer drinking fish right there.
Catfish?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You just sit there with cut bait and just wait. You know, you're not messing with the rod at all. You're just letting it sit there. That's a let me have a good time drinking fish.
Hell yeah! Well, when you come down to visit, make sure you stop by, and we'll go to the local fishing holes by where I work. There's a lot, and there's guys that's what they do every weekend, because we don't get winter down here. We just get a rainy season. So even when it gets colder, it's not all that cold. So they fish year round.
Oh yeah, and that's why I would like to make a move down there eventually once I can.
Texas is beautiful, buddy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we can get back on topic here. My next question for you is, so we had the peak, we had the pinnacle of your memories or an experience. Let's take that to the opposite end of the spectrum now. What would be your worst retail memory? Like something that made you want to walk out that day?
Well, the day I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me in there.
Oh my God.
You remember that day? I was like, Ray, I got to get the hell out of here. I'm leaving. That was shitty. But no.
Well, that wasn't Retail's fault. That was just you shouldn't have been on your phone, and you found some shit out, and you were like, I gotta go.
Well, yeah, but anyway,
you dumbass.
Probably. Oh, I know when there was a day where this couple came in, and it was like it was either Black Friday or we had some kind of, I think it was Black Friday.
Okay.
But so this couple came in, and you know how the worst nightmare working at that damn store was when the freaking registers would lock up on you, and there was 4 registers, and you'd go to 3 out of the 4, and they'd all lock up at the same time. And at that point, this was the hell of the job. When you're sitting there, you've made your pitch, you got this person to buy,
right?
And shit goes south like that. That's out of your control, and you're wasting so much time now.
And then you're sitting there 10 customers deep.
Yeah, there's that, and there's that, which puts the strain on being able to pitch to them because they don't want to hear it at this point. You have a window. You have a window to make that pitch.
Right.
And if they're waiting in line honestly, if they're waiting in line for more than 2 minutes, forget it.
Yeah, they're just going to tell you to go to hell.
Well, yeah. Now, don't not try because you never know. But statistically, and speaking from experience, the longer they're standing there, the less they want to hear it. It's really amazing that you kind of have that little window. But no, anyway, my worst experience was when I had the registers locked up and there was a giant line. And, of course, I'm up there by myself trying to get people to come up. And everyone was busy, though, so no shame on anybody that day. But so I had to move the line from one register to another. And this couple, they stepped out of line and went to a different register after everybody else was with the freaking program and got into the right line, except for them.
Right.
So I have this guy. I have a huge line. I'm trying to take care of everybody. I don't know what the hell he's doing. You know what I mean? He's screwing around with his girlfriend or wife over there. I don't know what he's doing. He's out of line. I got to keep this shit rolling. And so he ends up being behind me. And the guy's literally screaming at me, yelling at me, saying, first, chest all puffed out, trying to belittle me. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he's behind me. He's behind me, which is kind of sketchy. We're in a gun store. We're in a gun store, and this guy's behind me, and I'm talking to customers while he's bitching me out right in my ear.
Right.
And I'm standing there like, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, I just shrugged my shoulders at him. I'm like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. Like, these people are willing to let you go in front of them, and they wouldn't have it. Like, no, I'm not doing that. It's like, well, then then I can't help you. So there's nothing I can do at that point if you're going to stand there and not get in line and get wrung out. So I want to see a manager. So I called up the manager. It was Adam. And yeah, so
I do want to apologize, Alex. My kids are kind of not having a good time right now, so I do apologize that you hear them in the background. But they're 2 and 1, so it's understandable.
Yeah, you're good. That's fine. So Adam comes up and he's talking to these people, and Lauren ended up coming up too. Poor Lauren.
Oh,
and
poor Lauren. I'm actually having.
She's
actually going to be on the show Thursday.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
no way.
Excited.
Cool. I want to be on here with Mark when that day happens, because that's just gonna be freaking funny.
Yeah, no worries. But anyway,
yeah, I'll be on it. Yeah, I'll be on as often as you want. But anyway, so Lauren comes up and I look at Lauren. I'm like, you got to help these people because I got to go take a walk. Because it's one thing to get pissed off at the guy that's running the register, but if you're behind him,
right,
like trying to intimidate me, which isn't gonna happen.
Right.
Like, no way. And I was like, I'm really good at keeping my cool in those situations for the most part. But I was almost ready to crack that guy because he was like, it was almost a threat at that point.
Right. No, I totally get it.
And the thing that really made me mad was I see Adam take these people to another register, and I won't say his last name just because he's no kidding guy. But I see him take these people to another register, and he gives them their stuff for free.
Jesus.
on Black Friday. It's like, Adam, look, I get it, what you're trying to do for the customer and all that, but the thing that I forget what they were complaining about. It was like
minor.
It was like, yeah, it was like $30 worth of stuff that he just gave away, and it's like they're not a $10 million account that we have with another business or something like that. They're coming in, they're buying $30 worth of stuff. Guy's making a huge scene. He's literally threatening people.
Right.
He's threatening me. And you're going to give him his stuff away for free? In that situation, I just thought that was inappropriate, and there needed to be a little bit more backbone in that situation. But, again, it's a gray area. I understand you got to do what you got to do to retain your customer base, but...
No, I totally understand because it is very hard, especially with my management background, and that's what I deal with right now, especially with convenience store retail. A lot of time it's, just make the customer happy. We'd rather the customer be happy than get a complaint. But there are times when you just really want to go against your better judgment and just be like, get the fuck out. Like, go.
Yeah, and you can't.
Exactly.
And I didn't. But, yeah, it's one thing if you get pissed off and walk out. That's fine. That never really bugged me. In fact, Mitch used to, I don't know if you ever met Mitch. I think he came after you. But Mitch would always, he'd get on the headset and he'd be like, Alex, I don't know how you just let stuff roll off your shoulders the way you do up there. Because I'd be fired if I worked up there where you work out. I was like, yeah, it's a tough life up there.
Are you talking about the firearms supervisor?
Yeah.
I literally met him once, and and I'm pretty sure him and John got hired on the same day, and that was my last day.
John Crowell.
Yeah.
I like that guy. He's cool.
Yeah, I'm friends with him on Facebook. I'm going to try to get him on the show. Rob was supposed to be on a couple days ago, but he got busy. But I have commitment from him to be on the show as well to get a more of a gun sale perspective for the show. So yeah. I'm really excited about that.
He'll talk to you night and day about that whole thing.
I love it.
I actually just bought an AR from him.
That's fantastic.
a couple months ago, 2 months ago.
I was talking to Nate yesterday about Rob when we were. I forget what brought it up, but Robert Blakely got brought up, and I said, he's such a wealth of knowledge, and he's such an interesting person. Like, and he's so nice to everybody. I said, but if there's three things he would always say to everybody: get armed, get trained, be prepared.
Yeah, and he's right, and he's really right. And when he said that, when I first met the guy, and he said that, I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't take it seriously, but it wasn't on my priority. It wasn't on my priority list. But this whole thing, as soon as I started seeing this really start to unfold, this whole thing being the coronavirus,
right?
I said, Rob, he was the first one that I contacted. Like, Rob, set me up here, man. What do I need? And he set me up, and I'm a lot more secure now than I was. And it's not even, you shouldn't even be worried about the coronavirus. It's just everyday life. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, I think you should be a little worried about the virus because you don't want to catch it. You don't want to pass it on to people who are high risk, such as yourself. Right. But I totally agree. I mean, I live down here in Texas, and even where I live, I wouldn't say it's not the best neighborhood, but it's also not the worst. It would be like the equivalent of like not quite York City, but like on the border of York City, I would guess you could say.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, New Year's Eve, my wife was at work, and it was me at home with the kids, and I had just got done giving my kids a bath and put them to bed, and some dude was pounding on my door and knocked my door open because I guess when my wife left for work, she didn't really lock it because she was just in a hurry because it was New Year's, crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the dude, door came open because he was pounding on my door, and the dude was drunk. And luckily I was downstairs, and, I was like, hey, I'm armed. Like, you need to get out of my house. Don't come in here. And the dude left and got arrested because other people would call the police because he was pounding on everybody's doors.
I'm not going to sit here and say that that's hard to believe, but this guy, I mean, dude, you're in Texas.
Yeah.
You're not in New Jersey. You're in Texas, where everybody's got guns.
Everybody's armed.
And if somebody shoots you in Texas, if it's self-defense or you're trespassing,
right?
Man, a lot of times, and as they should, they get let off the hook. I mean, it's you're not in PA where people are afraid to shoot somebody, even if they have to. Even if they have to, because I might go to prison for defending myself.
Right? No, fuck no. Here in Texas, it's like Dave Chappelle said: when you get a shotgun, it's it's birdshot, buckshot, and it's for a reason too. You pepper them up a little bit, and if they're still not wise by the third round, well, I guess you got a story to tell.
It's a whole different realm down there.
Oh, it's beautiful though, man. I tell everybody, like, it's interesting, like, and I know this interview is about you, so I hate to keep adding stuff about me.
I don't care.
But one of my best friends that got me to move down here, for years, all he kept doing was, hey, move to Texas, hey, move to Texas, move to Texas. And finally I was like, okay, fine. So we ended up moving down here, and I'm doing it to everybody. Do I not, every time we talk, tell you to move down here?
Yeah, believe me, it is on my radar. I am so sick of these freaking PA winters. I can't take it anymore. I hate it.
I do miss the snow, and I'm sad that my boys aren't going to get to experience that.
They'll be fine, trust me.
But let me tell you, the heat is no fucking joke. The humidity is atrocious. I'm very grateful that I have a house with central air, but let me tell you, it is no joke. You will walk outside dry and take 2 steps and be wet.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, I will soak in the humidity like a freaking dirt ball before I'll freeze my ass off. I'm telling you, that does not bother me at all.
All right. So one of the last questions I want to ask here then for you is, actually, you pretty much touched base on everything for me that I've been wanting to go over, and I'm super grateful for you being so awesome to be here. So my wrap-up question for you then really is going to be, what tips would you have for those that are currently dealing with this craziness? So especially let's say say you didn't know me, and I'm asking you what your tips are for dealing with this craziness, because I know right now you're not currently working, but like me, I am. Everyone in my store is still working because we're essential, and we're dealing with the public, and we're dealing with people Some of them take it seriously, some don't. Every day at work we've got to wear gloves, we've got to wear masks. They even just sent us face shields that we got to, if we feel so inclined, we can start wearing. They've got plexiglass up around our registers and everything. I guess my main thing is maybe not so much in maybe the coronavirus not so much in a tip for that, but like just working with the public in general. What would you be your biggest tip or ways to help people get through it? Like what would your suggestions be to help people not walk out, to get people to realize like let's say somebody who they're making minimum wage or whatever, but it's how they're paying their bills, and something just happens where they just want to walk out that door that day. What advice or suggestions would you give them?
So are you asking me from me being up front of the cash register kind of situation, or?
Yeah, yeah. Let's just say that.
Well, I think obviously, if that's your only source of income, you got to stick with that until you find something else.
Okay,
Now, it all depends on how often are you feeling that way
I
at that job.
I gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because there's no perfect job.
Right,
There's not.
most
And anyone
definitely.
who thinks that there is and is still searching will be searching forever, because that is not going to happen.
Oh,
But
wholeheartedly.
the advice that I would give to somebody who encounters a situation where someone's kind of really really being rude and bashing them, honestly, and it took me years to, and I still haven't mastered it, but I've gotten a hell of a lot better at it. Let that stuff roll off your shoulders, man. I mean, at the end of the day, you getting yelled at by a customer, as long as it's not some crazy big account. I mean, we're talking retail.
Right.
Not that retail's not important, and not that it's working retail makes you lesser than somebody. That's not what I'm saying. But
No,
I'm
not at all.
saying there are so many other opportunities to get another customer in that realm than
Hmm.
any other realm, really, for that instance, unless you're talking the whole online thing. But yeah, my advice: let it roll off your shoulders. Have a good day, sir. And then the best thing I'd do, I'd go talk to my homies and just make a huge ass joke about it.
My homies.
Like my homies at Gander, like, dude, yeah. I mean, when
Woo.
that customer's gone and you're behind closed doors with just your coworkers and your pals, oh my God, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
So what you're saying is, don't let it get to you as soon as they're gone. Then you can cuss them out. Then you can, make yourself laugh, or, eventually get to a situation where you're at right now, where you can come on a podcast and bitch, moan, and complain about
Yeah, yeah.
it.
Just keep your cool, and just don't let them see that you're even ruffled up about it, which is hard. And
Oh yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying that I'm a pro at it, because I'm not. But just do your best to not let it get to you, and just on to the next one. On to the next one.
All right, man, that's perfect. I couldn't have said it better myself, and it's always awesome hearing different inputs from everybody. And that I think that's mainly the point of this is I want to get everyone's with their input and their perspectives on retail, what their likes, dislikes, and just how they deal with things. Because retail and dealing with the public in general it's never going to be easy, and anyone who
Oh,
tells you differently is lying.
all right.
So it's really awesome to me to have you guys come on as my guests and really have time to sit in a lot to talk to you guys and really just get to the depth of what you guys really feel, and just to get your opinions out there to help other people. So
Right.
again, I couldn't have asked for a better guest. Alex, I really very much appreciate you being here for episode 3, and that's going to wrap us up here for episode 3 of Retail Shenanigans.
All right.
Everyone out there following us, remember, we're going to try to be posting videos every day during the coronavirus shut-in.
All
Today
right.
was episode 3. Just remember, if you guys enjoying what you're hearing, you're liking, and you want to see more, just please make sure you like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Or if you're trying to, you know, you like this guy who I'm talking to, you like his voice, you like what he's saying about fishing, reach out to me. I can get you in contact with him. Wealth of information. So please have a great day, guys, and we will see you tomorrow.